3 on your side, giving you a closer look at the law enforcement officers charged by the FBI in the Delta drug trafficking operation we told you about yesterday. They could face millions of dollars in fines and decades in prison. According to the indictments, some carry charges up to life in prison and fines of up to $10 million. Many of the charges include different forms of aiding and abetting drug activity. Court records show some of the suspects received bribes to provide safe passage for FBI agents posing as drug cartel members through counties along Highway 61 into Memphis. Humphreys County Sheriff Bruce Williams faces 3 total charges. Prosecutors allege that Williams had given his blessing for undercover FBI agents posing as Mexican cartel members to transport drugs and drug proceeds through his county. He also gave the cartel permission to use his chief deputy, Truron Grayson, to escort the narcotics and narcotics proceeds.